On February 7th, 2026, a post appeared on social media that would break the hearts of millions of fans around the world. Hey everybody, Tyson and I feel ready to share some personal news. We've actually been broken up for quite some time now. For 6 years, they had been the golden couple of esports. The high school sweethearts who grew up together in the public eye. The duo who faced unimaginable challenges, fame, pressure, and even a life-threatening illness side by side. TenZ and Kyedae weren't just content creators. To their fans, they represented something rare in the chaotic world of internet fame. Genuine love, real partnership, a relationship that could survive anything. But sometimes, even the strongest love stories don't have fairy tale endings. This is the story of two teenagers who became famous together, built an empire together, and faced cancer together, only to realize that growing up sometimes means growing apart. This is the story of heartbreak in the age of social media, where millions of strangers feel entitled to judge the most intimate decisions of people they've never met. This is the story of TenZ and Kyedae. Their story began the way so many modern love stories do: young, fast, and completely overwhelming. Kyedae Shimko and Tyson and Go met when they were just 17 years old. Two kids who loved video games, who were trying to figure out who they were, who had their whole lives ahead of them. Within weeks of meeting, they moved in together. To outsiders, it might have seemed reckless, too much too soon. But when you're 17 and in love, nothing feels too fast. Everything feels exactly right. Neither of them could have predicted what would come next. Tyson, who went by the gamer tag TenZ, was already making waves in the competitive gaming scene. He had started with Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, showing a natural talent and precision that caught the attention of professional teams. When Riot Games released Valorant in 2020, TenZ made the switch. And he didn't just play the game, he dominated it. His mechanical skill, his game sense, his ability to make plays that seemed impossible. TenZ quickly became one of the most recognizable names in Valorant. In 2021, he joined Sentinels, one of North America's premier esports organizations. That same year, Sentinels won the first Valorant Champions Tour Masters tournament in Reykjavik, Iceland. TenZ was on top of the world. And through it all, Kyedae was there. She'd started streaming herself, broadcasting Valorant gameplay on Twitch. But Kyedae's appeal wasn't just about her skill at the game, it was her personality. She was funny, genuine, relatable. She didn't try to be someone she wasn't. Her audience grew rapidly. Hundreds of thousands of followers became millions. She joined 100 Thieves as a content creator. Brand deals followed. She was becoming a star in her own right. But to fans, the real appeal was watching TenZ and Kyedae together. They would appear in each other's streams. They'd joke around, support each other, share moments that felt intimate, despite being broadcast to thousands of people. They represented something aspirational, a relationship where both people were successful, where they lifted each other up, where love and career could coexist without competition or resentment. In August 2022, they announced their engagement. The internet erupted with joy. TenZ posted a simple message: "We're engaged." Kyedae wrote, "To forever with you, my love. I couldn't be happier to grow old with my favorite human being." Forever. That's what they believed. That's what everyone believed. But life had other plans. On March 2023, Kyedae posted a video that would change everything. Her face was serious, her voice shaking slightly. She looked directly into the camera and said the words that no one wants to hear, let alone say, "I have cancer." Acute myeloid leukemia, aggressive blood cancer. She was only 21 years old. The news sent shockwaves through the gaming community. This vibrant young woman who had her whole life ahead of her, engaged, successful, beloved by millions, was facing a battle for her life. Kyedae decided to be open about her journey. She documented her treatment, her struggles, her fears. She shaved her head on stream when her hair began falling out from chemotherapy. She talked about the pain, the uncertainty, the terror of not knowing if she would survive. And through every moment, TenZ was there. He sat with her during treatments. He held her when she was sick. He stayed positive when she couldn't be. He reorganized his entire life around being her support system. The gaming community watched this play out with a mixture of heartbreak and admiration. Here was a young couple facing something that would destroy many relationships, and they seemed to be getting stronger. TenZ took breaks from competitive play to be with Kyedae. His performance fluctuated as he tried to balance being a professional player with being a supportive partner. Some fans criticized him for not being focused enough on the game. Others praised him for having his priorities straight. In September 2023, Kyedae announced that she had finished chemotherapy. The cancer was in remission. She had survived. The relief was palpable. They had made it through the worst thing imaginable. If they could survive cancer together, surely they could survive anything. But surviving together and thriving together are not the same thing. Looking back, there were signs that something was changing. In September 2024, TenZ announced his retirement from professional Valorant. After years of competing at the highest level, he was stepping away. He would continue streaming and creating content. But the intense pressure of professional competition was over. Some fans speculated about why. Was it burnout? Was it the toll of trying to compete while supporting Kyedae through cancer? Was it a lack of passion for the game? TenZ gave standard answers. His goals had changed. He wanted to focus on content creation. He was ready for a new chapter. But behind the scenes, according to their later statements, both TenZ and Kyedae were beginning to realize something uncomfortable. They didn't know who they were outside of each other. For 6 years, their entire adult lives, they had done everything together. They lived together, worked together, created content together, faced challenges together. Their hobbies were the same. Their friend groups overlapped completely. Their daily routines were intertwined. They had become so merged that the individual people, Kyedae and Tyson, had gotten lost somewhere inside the entity of TenZ and Kyedae. In early 2025, Kyedae made an announcement that surprised many. She was stepping away from streaming indefinitely. Truthfully, streaming was never my dream or end goal, she wrote. She needed space to figure out what she actually wanted from life. For someone who had built her career on streaming, who had millions of followers, who was making substantial income from the platform, walking away was a big decision. Fans noticed other things too. They deleted photos of each other from Instagram. They appeared on stream without their engagement rings. They spent holidays separately when they had always been together in the past. The speculation began. Were they still together? Had something happened? But neither addressed it publicly. Until February 2026. We've actually been broken up for quite some time now. Kyedae's statement was careful, thoughtful, and heartbreaking. She explained that toward the end of their relationship, they had realized they had stopped growing as individuals. That doing everything together for 6 years, from ages 17 to 24, meant they had never experienced being independent adults. Over time, it became clear that we needed space to grow into our own people separately, she wrote. She emphasized that there was no wrongdoing, no resentment, No single event that caused the breakup. They had simply grown apart. We know the internet often looks for the tea, but the truth is simple. We grew apart. She asked for privacy. She said they still cared deeply about each other. She thanked fans for the support they had shown over the years. The next day, TenZ posted his own statement supporting everything Kyedae had said. The breakup was mutual. They still cared for each other. They were grateful for the time they shared. And that should have been the end of it. Two people recognizing that their relationship had run its course, parting amicably and asking for respect during a difficult time. But this is the internet, and the internet doesn't do nuance. Within hours of the announcement, the hate began pouring in, almost entirely directed at Kyedae. She used him. He took care of her through cancer, and she left him the second she recovered. She's ungrateful. He sacrificed his career for her, and she couldn't even stay with him. The narrative that formed was ugly and deeply misogynistic. TenZ was the selfless hero who gave up everything for his girlfriend. Kyedae was the selfish woman who took and then left once she got what she needed. South Korean streamer Kangmin Lee posted, "Bro gave up his pro career, helped build her public following, took care of her through cancer treatment, and she still decides to leave him to discover herself." Others were even harsher. So this guy took care of her, paid her bills, spent all his energy and time to make sure she was good. She got cancer. He put his career on hold to take care of her. And once all that was said and done, she was like, "Thanks, now let's break up." The comments revealed a deeply toxic mindset, that being supportive during illness creates an obligation, that caring for someone through cancer means they owe you their continued presence in your life, as if love is transactional, as if standing by someone through hardship is an investment that demands returns. Then came the cheating rumors. Screenshots began circulating on Reddit. Photos of Kyedae with a streamer named John Choi were shared with cropped context to make it look like they were alone together. Speculation exploded that Kyedae had been cheating for months, that this was the real reason for the breakup. The rumors were completely false, but that didn't matter. The internet had decided on its narrative. On February 9th, TenZ had seen enough. I've been seeing a lot of really weird posts about Kyedae and me that are creating false narratives and spreading unnecessary hate. It's really disheartening to see. He made several things explicitly clear. They parted on completely mutual terms. There was no villain in this story. He quit professional Valorant of his own accord and was never influenced by Kyedae to quit. His goals simply changed over time. In a healthy relationship, there should never be comparisons about who sacrificed more or gave more. That mindset is immature and helps nobody. Regarding the cheating rumors, he was even more direct. This is genuinely disgusting that people are still spitting out bullshit onto the timeline. He confirmed that John Choi was a friend to both of them. The photos being shared were from group hangouts where TenZ's other friends had been cropped out to push a false narrative. John Choi himself posted, "No, I am not dating Kyedae, and I've never hung out with her outside of a group setting. Stop cropping photos to make it look like we have. Tyson is a friend and has stated himself that these rumors are false, so please stop sending me death threats on his behalf." Even false claims were spreading that TenZ had donated bone marrow to Kyedae during her cancer treatment. He hadn't. I have absolutely no clue how people started saying I donated bone marrow to her when I most definitely did not. TenZ was begging people to stop, to respect Kyedae, to respect the decision they made together. All I ask is that you please respect Kyedae as a person and respect the decision we made together. This kind of pointless drama is exactly why having a relationship in the public eye can be so draining. But the hate continued. Here's what people don't want to hear. Sometimes relationships end not because someone did something wrong, but because two people realize they're no longer right for each other. Tenz and Kyedae were 17 when they met. 17. Most people at that age haven't figured out who they are yet. They're still forming their identities, discovering their values, learning what they want from life. And Tenz and Kyedae did all of that growing up together, which meant they never had the chance to grow up as individuals. They moved in together immediately. They worked together. They built their careers in parallel. When Kyedae faced cancer, they fought it together. But somewhere in all of that togetherness, they lost themselves. Kyedae realized that streaming wasn't actually her dream. But how could she know what her dream was when she'd never had space to explore it independently? Tenz realized his goals in gaming had changed. But was that because he genuinely evolved, or because he'd never had the chance to pursue competitive gaming without also managing a relationship? These aren't questions with easy answers. And they're not questions you can answer while still in the relationship. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes two people can care deeply about each other and still recognize that staying together is preventing both of them from becoming who they're meant to be. That doesn't make anyone a villain. It makes them human. One of the cruelest aspects of this story is that Tenz and Kyedae made the mature, healthy decision to end their relationship. And they're being punished for it. If they had stayed together while being miserable, they would have been praised for working through it. If they had stayed together and grown to resent each other, fans would have celebrated their commitment. If they had imploded dramatically, if there had been cheating or abuse or some explosive ending, at least then people would understand. There would be a villain to blame, a clear reason why it ended. But they did the hardest thing possible. They recognized that their relationship was no longer serving either of them, and they ended it with grace, honesty, and mutual respect. And for that, Kyedae is being vilified. This is the cost of being a woman in a public relationship. No matter what you do, no matter how carefully you handle things, people will find a way to make you the villain. Tenz is getting sympathy. He's the heartbroken hero. Even when he explicitly sees the breakup was mutual, even when he begs people to stop blaming Kyedae, fans continue to frame him as the victim. Kyedae gets hatred. She's the ungrateful girlfriend, the user, the heartbreaker. Even when Tenz himself says this narrative is false, people cling to it because it confirms their existing biases about women. The parasocial relationships that fans developed with this couple have turned toxic. Millions of people who never met them, who don't know the private details of their relationship, who only saw what was broadcast online. These strangers feel entitled to judge whether Kyedae had the right to leave. As if staying in a relationship that's no longer working is some kind of moral obligation when your partner was supportive during illness. As if women owe men their eternal presence in exchange for basic human decency. On August 2022, Tenz and Kyedae announced their engagement. Tenz commented on that post recently. Literally, did not age well, with skull emojis. It's a sad joke. An acknowledgement that forever isn't guaranteed, no matter how much you believe in it at the time. But here's the thing. Just because a relationship ends doesn't mean it was a failure. Tenz and Kyedae had 6 years together. They supported each other's careers. They built something meaningful. They faced cancer together and came out the other side. They loved each other genuinely and deeply. And when they realized that staying together was preventing both of them from growing into the people they needed to become, they had the courage to let go. That's not a failure. That's growth. The real tragedy isn't that they broke up. It's that we live in a world where people can't accept that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. Where millions of strangers feel entitled to judge decisions they don't understand. Where a woman can't leave a relationship that's no longer working without being accused of being selfish, ungrateful, or manipulative. Tenz and Kyedae will both be okay. They're young, talented, and have opportunities ahead of them. They'll figure out who they are as individuals. Maybe they'll find new relationships that fit better with who they're becoming. Maybe they won't. But that's their journey to take, not ours to judge. To everyone watching this, if you truly cared about Tenz and Kyedae, you would respect their decision. You would wish them both well. You would stop creating narratives that hurt them. And maybe, just maybe, you'd learn something from their story. That love is important, but so is individual growth. That being supportive during hard times is the baseline of human decency, not a debt someone owes you. That sometimes the bravest thing is not holding on, but letting go. 6 years, an engagement, a cancer battle, and an ending that, while sad, was handled with more maturity and grace than most people twice their age could manage. That's the real story of Tenz and Kyedae.